Morning, people. Where do I even start? Teofimo Lopez outpoints the pound-for-pound king, Vasyl Lomachenko, over 12 rounds to become the new world lightweight champion, the undisputed world lightweight champion. He's actually the youngest ever 4-belt undisputed world champion, which is, some accomplishment. 23 years old, 16 fights, undisputed world lightweight champion. I mean, that is some achievement. I see a lot of people on social media saying that the scorecards were too wide, which I agree with. The scorecards were way too wide. I had Lopez winning, myself. I think I scored the fight 115 to 113 to Lopez. But a lot of people out there, and I'm assuming they're Lomachenko fanboys, are going around and saying that Vasyl Lomachenko won because his punches were more accurate. Check the CompuBox, they say. Check the CompuBox numbers. Check the stats. Lomachenko was more accurate. I mean, first off, that's not how you score boxing matches. You score boxing matches based on round for round. Which fighter is controlling the action, landing more clean, effective punches, effective pressure can be scored. I mean, I just score the fights based on, I score a round based on who is landing the better and more frequent combinations in that round. That's how I scored a fight. Any fight, right? So the Lomachenko fanboys are going around, they're saying, oh, Lomachenko was more accurate. Lomachenko landed a higher percentage of his punches, right? And that is true if you look at the CompuBox numbers. But Teofimo Lopez landed more punches. So the fact that Lomachenko was more accurate doesn't mean much considering Lopez landed more punches. Onto the fight itself. It wasn't a great fight in terms of the entertainment factor. It wasn't a great fight. See, for me, this fight was a fight of two halves. The first 6 rounds and the last 6 rounds. The first 6 rounds consisted basically of Teofimo Lopez following Vasyl Lomachenko around the ring, trying to land punches. Lopez was going to the body a lot. He's landing some good straight right hands to the body of Lomachenko, which helped to slow Lomachenko down. Lomachenko wasn't throwing a lot of punches, and I think that's the thing that lost Lomachenko this fight. He didn't throw enough punches. He essentially gave up the first 6 rounds because he wasn't throwing enough punches. If Lomachenko would have threw more punches in the first 6 rounds, if he would have won, say, 1 or 2 of the first 6 rounds, because the thing is, he didn't do anything, Lomachenko. He didn't do anything to even attempt to win the first 6 rounds. Apart from in the second round, he landed a good straight right hand. I think he landed a combination of 2 straight right hands. Well, no, 2 straight left hands, because he's a southpaw. 2 straight left hands, which won him the second round for me. But that was it. From 1 to 6, that was all that Lomachenko did. And other than that, he just ran around the ring in circles and let Lopez chase him. I think Vasyl Lomachenko will look back on the first 6 rounds and he will be kicking himself. He'll be kicking himself because that is where he lost the fight. The first 6 rounds. He gave up the first 6 rounds to Teofimo Lopez, and the fight was close. It wasn't on the scorecards, on the judges' scorecards, which is a bit of a disgrace because one of the scorecards was like 119, 109, which is bloody. I mean that's ludicrous. That's crazy. But it was a close fight, in my opinion. 115, 113 is the way I scored it. So if Lomachenko could have just gone in and nicked a couple of the first 6 rounds, he would have won the fight. Then moving on to the last 6 rounds of the fight, Vasyl Lomachenko stepped up his game. He stepped up the gears. He was throwing more combinations. That's the thing. In the first 6 rounds, Vasyl Lomachenko threw maybe 1 and 2 punch combinations, and that was it. There was no 3-4 punch combinations, and he did that in the second half of the fight, and that was what was winning him the rounds. It was throwing them combinations because Teofimo Lopez he couldn't deal with Lomachenko's combinations. I think ultimately Teofimo Lopez done brilliantly, fought a great fight, had a great game plan. He absolutely deserves to be world champion, for sure. He deserved to win the fight. He deserved to beat Lomachenko. Lomachenko wasn't good enough. I think Lopez proved a lot of the doubters wrong, and that's something that he will be happy about. I mean, after that win, Lopez is top 10 pound for pound, essentially. It would be interesting to see what Teofimo Lopez does next, who he fights next, because there was no rematch clause in the contract, so Teofimo Lopez can fight whoever he wants. He can go and fight the winner of Devin Haney versus Yuriorkis Gamboa, or he could go and fight the winner of Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell. You know, any of those names would be a good fight for Lopez next. And then even he could have a rematch with Lomachenko. I don't think it's a good idea for Lopez to have a rematch with Lomachenko though, because I do believe the reason Lomachenko lost this fight is one of a couple things. His game plan was terrible, because he was just terrible in the first 6 rounds. He hardly threw a punch, and I think that was a part of his game plan, because I think he wanted to take Lopez to the deep end in the later rounds and drown him, because Lopez had never been 12 rounds. But you can't take a risk like that, giving 6 rounds away because you think a guy is going to fade in the last 6 rounds. That's a crazy risk. Or maybe, like Teofimo Lopez suggested, that Vasyl Lomachenko is past it. He's past his best. Maybe he is. I mean, he's only 32, but he's had a hell of a lot of fights. 400 amateur fights and 16 or 17 professional fights, and all of his professional fights have been at the world level for world titles, etc. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. What did you think of Teofimo Lopez's performance? What did you think of Vasyl Lomachenko's performance? Could he have done better? What happens if there's a rematch? Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Peace.